Mahabang pila, sangkatutak na paperwork at requirement. At minsan ay kailangan pa ng pampadulas para mapabilis ang proseso ng pagkuha ng business permit. Ilan lamang daw yan sa kailangang pagdaanan ng mga namumuhunan dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya kahit malaki ang potensyal ng Pilipinas sa pagnenegosyo, lagapak pa rin ang bansa kung ease of doing business ang pag-uusapan. At kadalasang dumadaing ang mga maliliit na negosyante at pasimula pa lang na negosyo.
Tedious. Napakaraming requirements and hindi lang yon. For the mayor's permit, mga week. But for the others, more than 3 months yung aming processing. And smooth na lahat ng requirements, pero pag nagkaroon pa kami ng kulang, mas longer pa.
Sa pagsisimula kasi ng business pa lang, 16 na proseso na ang pagdaraanan na tinatayang nasa mahigit 1 buwan ang gugugulin para matapos. Simula pa lang yan Dahil dito, bumagsak sa ika-113 ang ranggo naman ng bansa sa 2018 Doing Business Report ng World Bank International Finance Corporation. Pero mababago na ito. Nagbalangkas ang Senado at Kongreso ng Ease of Doing Business Act bilang tugon sa problema ng mamamayan pati na rin ng Pangulo.
Yung Ease of Doing Business Expanded Anti-Red Tape Act, this covers all government transactions. Ang kagandahan po nito, hindi lamang ito para sa mga negosyante, ito din po ay para sa mamamayan nating kababayan. Dito sa ating batas, naglagay na po tayo ng prescribed processing time. For simple transactions, it's between 3 days to 7 days, lalo-lalo sa local government units. Ganun na katagal ang application time ninyo. Pagdating naman sa more complex transactions ng ECC or mga permits sa DNR or permits sa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, ang pinakamatagal ay 20 working days.
Nakapaloob din sa Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act ang mga probisyong magpapadali ng mga proseso at maiwasan ang korupsyon.
Ang kagandahan sa batas na to is mandated siya na magkaroon ang bawat LGU ng isang business one-stop shop. You call it BOSS. So hindi na iikot yung aplikante kung saan-saan maghanap ng barangay clearance or what. Because it's now made available.
Isang form na lang, tapos yung form mo, isang file mong ganyan, yung mga opisina na dapat pinupuntahan mo sa iba-ibang lugar, may representative na sa likod ng receiving area. At doon na umiikot yung papel mo, hindi na ikaw yung umiikot at pumipila.
Layunin na rin ng batas na sumabay sa modernisasyon. Kaya naman gagawin na ring online ang business transaction para sa mga negosyanteng gustong palawigin pa ang kanilang negosyo sa ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Sa pamamagitan ng online application, unified form, at one number, hindi na paulit-ulit pang magsasubmit ng dokumento ang mga nag-a-apply ng permit.
All the documents are already in the central business portal. Para sa ganun, ay hindi mo na kailangan magbitbit pa na napakaraming papel.
Bukod sa mga negosyante, mapapagaan na rin ang pagproseso ng government IDs ng mga mamamayan.
This is not only confined to business transactions, but also to non-business transactions. Example, passport lang, sakit sa ulo, driver's license, NSO, birth certificate, and all these things. So these are all covered by this law.
Magtatatag na din ng Anti-Red Tape Authority o ARTA na magsisilbing sumbungan ng bayan. Tungkulin din ng Anti-Red Tape Authority na isakatuparan ang programa ng pamahalaan laban sa red tape at para mapadali ang pagnenegosyo sa bansa.
So, meron na po silang matatakbuhan na ahensya na ang trabaho niya ay itigil na po itong mga corrupt practices na ito at mga red tape or additional bureaucracy na talaga nagpapabagal sa mga transactions.
Nanggagaling tayo doon sa may mga experience na napakatagal naman or pinagsasamantalahan yung posisyon na yon at nahihirapan ng taong bayan. So it will only improve the system, setting the discipline doon sa mga nag-i-implement ng mga rules.
Magpapatupad din ng two-strike policy para mas lalong higpitan ang implementasyon ng batas na ito.
Dito sa strike 1, administrative liability, automatic suspended ka for 6 months. Sa second offense, ito mas mabigat. Meron ka administrative liability and criminal liability plus dismissal from service and perpetual disqualification from holding public office.
There are stiff penalties, no? Strike 2 ka lang dito, tatanggalin ang frontliner, including the head of the approving agency. Pati mayor tanggal dito kung kailangan.
Katuwang din ng Anti-Red Tape Authority ang Civil Service Commission o CSC sa pagpapatupad ng batas. Pinalaganap ng batas ang Anti-Red Tape Unit sa lahat ng regional offices ng CSC at sa central office. Una sa pag-imbestiga ng mga compliance laban sa kawani ng pamahalaan. At pangalawa, sa pagbibigay ng incentives sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan na maganda ang performance.
Meron kasi kaming mandate to issue mga policies or guidelines that will affect the bureaucracy when it comes to frontline service delivery, especially kasi part of what we will contribute. Mag-i-issue ng memorandum circular and joining everyone to support the implementation of the law.
This is to concretize the reforms that the government and the president want to do to get rid of corruption, to get rid of red tape in government.
Pag mawawala na po yung korupsyon, red tape ng national government agencies at local government units, dadami mga magtatayo ng negosyo. So this will translate into more job opportunities for people.
At maraming negosyo, maraming trabaho, maraming opportunity. Dadami ang pera ng mga tao doon. Lalaki consumer base. Pag lumaki consumer base, dadami rin yung investor na papasok kasi maraming mamimili doon eh. Ito yung batas na magpapadali sa negosyo para lahat tayong Pilipino ay umunlad at umasenso.
That would make a difference. In my time, I will just provide the mechanism. I cannot altogether kaya ng permit 3 days gawain isang buwan. Itong director na ito, kayong mga directors talagang yayariin ko kayo. Sundin ninyo yan. And Congress should be able to modify it if there is something that is short of the law. They should be able to make amendments para madali. Ako, I will salute the Congress kung gawain nila yan.
Philippine shares take a step back alongside most Asian markets on the first trading day of September. Globally, there's the disappointment that the U.S. and Canada have yet to reach a trade deal. Then, Tyson PMI showing China's manufacturing growth slowed to a 14-month low in August. Locally, though, there's the MSCI rebalancing that took effect on Monday, and investors bracing for inflation data out on Wednesday. The consensus, a pickup from July's 5.7%, already the highest in nearly a decade. CUL Financial's April Lee Tan admits inflation must be controlled. But she says high inflation is not necessarily a bad sign for the economy.
If the economy is weak, then the demand will dry up, necessitating that they cut prices again. But so far, we're not seeing demand weaken. therefore allowing the businesses to increase prices. So that is really a sign of strong economy.
For the day, the index lost a third of 1% to settle at 78.32. This as foreign investors sold down over 700 million pesos in equities. Among the day's big losers, on heavy volume, Ayala Corporation, Jollibee, Ayala Land, BPI, and SM Prime Holdings. Analysts say September is typically a good month, better than August at least. But given that we've been on an uptrend for the past 2 months and domestic headwinds remain, September this year could tell a different story. And this market could actually be ripe for some pullback. Phil Equities' Miguel Agarao says while the local bourse is on the road to recovery, contagion fears among emerging markets may continue to weigh on investor sentiment.
What other countries can become a Turkey or become an Argentina? So they'll be focusing on deficit countries. In my last interview with you, I said they'll be looking at Indonesia and India. And this is partly the reason why the Philippine stock market has been strong. During the time that a lot of currencies weakened because the dollar index broke out, the Philippine peso managed to stay put at 53.50 despite all these inflation figures. The BSP has been doing a good job on that front.
In corporate stories, a shake-up in the Aboitiz Group's leadership. In its power unit, Elamon Aboitiz is stepping down as chairman of the board to be replaced by another family member, Mikel. While Edwin Bautista, president and CEO of the group's banking arm, is elected to the board of parent firm Aboitiz Equity Ventures to serve the remaining term of Tony Moraza. And it seems the Gokongwei Group is keen on playing a bigger and more active role in the consumer space, with its retail arm, Robinson's Retail Holdings, buying an additional 8% stake in Mini-Stop Philippines from Mitsubishi Corp, raising its ownership to 59.1%. The remaining 40.9% now belongs to Japan-based Mini-Stop. Mini-Stop generated system-wide sales of 4.5 billion pesos in the first half of the year from nearly 500 branches across the country. Another bank is boosting its war chest now before rates go further up. BDO setting up a peso bond program to raise as much as 100 billion pesos. Earlier, BPI raised $600 million from a dollar notes program. Security Bank also looking to raise 10 billion pesos in a stock rights offer. And finally, San Miguel Corporation confirms it may hit the 1 trillion peso revenue mark this year, 2 years ahead of schedule, with contribution from its 630 megawatt Masinloc power plant and its new initiatives start paying off.
Cebu Pacific started as a dream of my father to serve the Philippine traveling public.
Oh my gosh, Cebu Pacific has really grown into one of the major players, and it's something really special.
Cebu Pacific is the first budget airline, not just in the Philippines, but in Asia. We've enabled people to travel.
We just want to be synonymous with the Philippines.
It started out really as service to the Filipino people. Back then, we were flying an airplane called the DC-9, and now we're flying something just short of Star Wars, really. And the goal back then was to make air travel available to everybody, because prior to that, air travel really was what most Filipinos would seem as a luxury. And now we're flying on very long routes to places like Dubai, Sydney, Kuwait, Riyadh. It has made the world a lot smaller, but it has gone beyond that. It doesn't just cater to Filipinos now, because now we're bringing the international community closer to the Filipinos and vice versa. The most common comment that I hear from passengers is really the way we treat them. It's friendlier, they feel more at home when they fly with Cebu Pacific. And I think that has something about the Filipino people themselves, because we are that way. And that sort of treatment will attract you.
When Cebu Pacific started out 19 years ago, we were just serving a domestic market. But today, we are talking about flying to international markets. And so there is a need to refresh the brand. The new brand is an evolution of the current brand. We still carry the eagle, but it's friendlier and more approachable. because we are a Philippine carrier, we need to be able to have a brand that represents the colors of the country. And when you talk about the Philippines, you think of beautiful beaches, you think of blue seas and the bright sun. You talk about beautiful landscape, islands. We wanted to make sure that the brand captures that, while it also represents the airline as a young, fun, dynamic, and energetic brand.
I think the new rebranding is just the affirmation that we must continue on what brought us the success before, which is really serving our mission of making flying affordable to more Filipinos. And today, Cebu Pacific is the largest Philippine airline brand. In the most recent year, we served over 17 million people. We have over 60% of the Philippine domestic market. And now we are a true international carrier and making the Philippines much more accessible to people throughout the globe. And we're very proud to be a representative of the Philippines. The Philippines represents our roots, it's where we come from, and it's really such a jewel, and it's part of Cebu Pacific's mission to make this jewel that much more available and accessible to the world. We hope that Cebu Pacific becomes the Filipino global brand for travel, for fun, for affordability, and we just want to be synonymous with the Philippines.